Welcome to U.S. Cellular Field for the final 3 games of the season as the Detroit Tigers come in with something to play for and the Chicago White Sox try to play the role of the spoiler to perfection. Hello again, everybody. Steve Stone along with Mike Huff. Hawk Harrelson is away tonight on some family matters, so we're going to try to take this over and give you a good ball game tonight as the White Sox try to spoil the parade for the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers have a 3-game lead over Minnesota, so this is a huge series for them. And Mike, you've been on a lot of teams that were eliminated. When you play a team that's still in the race, is there any added incentive?
Oh, there's always added incentive. You never want to be that team that ends up allowing another team to either pass you or win a championship on your field or even in their stadium. Especially for the younger players. They get a sense and feel for what it feels like to be in the big leagues, sometimes around a pretty excited crowd, but there's always that added incentive that you don't want to be the team that they end up winning it in your field.
So the Sox do have that incentive of playing a team that's in first place. Again, a 3-game lead over Minnesota, so a big game for both the Twins and especially the Tigers here tonight because they've got 4 games left against one another. And so tonight it's going to be Jake Peavy, his second start for the White Sox against Eddie Bonine. It should be a good one, and stay tuned for baseball.
White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is
Test 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field. Sox and Tigers.
out. But when you kind of look at it from the black and white of did we win the division, you can just kind of get down and get negative about everything. But I do believe, that the White Sox going into the next year, because of the experiences that guys had this year, especially the younger guys, will be better off for it.
I mean, you got Gordon, you got Rios in center field, you have, you have Pasenik left field. Just right now, I said 2-3 weeks ago, you give me this ball club early in the season, from Sand Springs right now, I guarantee you, we have a better shot. Because, all those guys. It's more negative thing happening in positive. That's why I cannot combine, because the way these two is so much different. It's so much weight in different things. That's why we are where we are.
In fact, the best positive of the season might have been July 23rd, Mark Buehrle's perfect game. Before tonight's game, the Sox presented Buehrle and his father, each with a ring to commemorate that occasion.
Obviously, it shows the classy organization the White Sox are, and Jerry obviously going out there and doing stuff like that, and obviously a great accomplishment. But for him to go out and recognize it and get a ring, and a big display case for the house, and I think going above and beyond and getting my dad one. So I think just shows you how awesome Jerry is. Our PK and AJ were saying next year, said just go 7 innings next year every game. Win 25. That way we can win. It seems like every time go out there and have a game, or something special happen the rest of the year, but they don't play good. So, but yeah, obviously, if I had a choice to not throw it and us play better, I would have taken that.
And Buehrle may have pitched his last this year, told us he's pushed back from his start next Tuesday in Cleveland and will only pitch next weekend if those games matter to the Tigers. This one certainly does, and it's coming next. Sox and Tigers, Steve Stone and Mike Huff with the first pitch right after this on Comcast Sportsnet.
By Comcast. Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field, the Southwest starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers. So we have in first place in the Central, it'll be Granderson, Polanco, Ordonez, and Cabrera, with Aubrey Huff the DH, then Ian, Avila, and Santiago playing shortstop and hitting ninth. The Lowe's defensive setup, and how they'll line up behind Jake Peavy left to right with Sednick, Rios, and Dye. In the infield, Beckham, Ramirez, Getson, Konerko, A.J. Brzezinski behind the plate, and the U.S. Cellular starting pitcher is Jake Peavy. Through against Kansas City in his one lone White Sox start. There you look at combined numbers between San Diego and the White Sox. This is his second time out. He went 5 innings against Kansas City, threw the ball pretty well. Said he felt a little rusty, but that's to be expected. The game conditions 64 degrees with 89% humidity, winds out of the southeast at 8 miles an hour, and it's cloudy. The umpires for the game tonight: Mark Carlson behind the plate, Kerwin Danley at first, Wally Bell at second, and Ron Kulpa at third. It's 7-11 and it's time for the first pitch. Tonight's game time start is presented by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. And the first ball is hit deep to right field. Dye goes back. He makes a great catch against the wall. What an effort by Jermaine Dye. He holds it up to show Kerwin Danley a terrific way to start. And Mike, you, a veteran of outfield play, can appreciate that play.
Oh, I love watching that type of play. I don't think our fans have seen that enough this year. Jermaine gets a great jump on the ball. Granderson looking for that first pitch fastball, gets it, puts a good swing on it, and Jermaine finds the fence. Hope he didn't catch a spike in there. Watched a quick glance there. He knew he had a chance at this one. Reached up 2 hands to make sure he hang on to it. As he hit the wall, it's 1 out.
That brings up Placido Polanco, who's hitting .284. He's hit 10 home runs, driven in 69, and he's one of the keys to this lineup. Looks at a fastball for a strike over the outside corner. The Tigers come in at 82-70. They lead Minnesota by 3 full games. Tigers have won 4 in a row. Minnesota has won 3 in a row. That fastball misses on the outside corner. So, Mike, nice to have you along, and Hawk Harrelson not with us. He's away on a family matter, so you've pinch hit for me. It's nice to finally work with you.
Oh, my gosh. Same here, Steve. I'm excited about it. And I'm sure Jake is hoping every other out the rest of this game aren't nearly as exciting as that one.
That fastball catches the outside corner. The count goes to 1-2. Polanco originally out of the St. Louis Cardinal organization, and he's a guy that does just about everything right.
Down in front, please. Down in front.
That slider misses low and away.
Absolutely right, Steve. These are the types of guys that every ball club loves to have. A 24th to 25th guy, a person that can play multiple positions and just is a grinder. Isn't so worried about being the all-star of the team and just setting the table for a few others.
And a guy who's fanned 40 times in 574 at-bats. Line drive, base hit. Sednick comes over, gets the ball back in, and so 2 hitters, 2 line drives. Placido Polanco, who's always done well against the Sox.
Pretty doggone good at bat there. I mean, that ball really wasn't up in the zone. 2 strikes, got it on the outer half. Like you said, though, good ball player, just was able to put enough on the bat, enough bat on the ball to get over the infielders' heads.
Magglio Ordonez comes in at .295, 7 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Been a disappointing power year for Magglio, but he's starting to hit the baseball. Looks like it's 2. Ramirez to Konerko out of the first inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first with no score. Sox, it'll be Posednik, Beckham, and Pierzynski, with Paul Konerko hitting cleanup, then Ramirez, Dye, Carlos Quentin the DH tonight, Getz, and Rios playing center field and hitting 9. Lowe's defensive setup, and now they'll line up behind Bonine. It's Guillen, Granderson, and Ordonez left to right. With Inge, Santiago, Polanco, and Cabrera. Behind the plate is Alex Avila and Eddie Bonine on for his third start. His ERA a touch under 6. As you can see, he's not overpowering. Both left and right-handers hitting well over 300. He's not overpowering. He does have a slider and a changeup that's a work in progress. The first pitch is a fastball that misses low and in. Bonine, the Rule 5 draft from the San Diego Padres back in 2005. A fastball right down the middle, and Scott hitting .303, 6 home runs, 45 driven in. And overall, he's had a wonderful offensive season. Good sinker, tap to the right side. Cabrera flips, and he misses him. He dropped the ball, but he's called out by Kerwin Danley.
A little surprised by that call. Don't typically you have to fold it out of the glove with your hand to show him you've got it?
That's what the rule says. Take it out of the glove with control. He drops it there, but Kerwin Danley said he held it long enough. So a high throw by Cabrera. I'm not sure he ever controlled that ball.
I guarantee he didn't. Like you said, a high toss by Cabrera, barely got the glove on it.
Good fastball for a strike to Gordon Beckham, who comes in hitting .266, 13 home runs, 56 driven in. Outfield straight away, infield straight up, and that fastball misses inside, evens the count at 1-1. Take another look at it. The throw is high, and the ball in the top of the glove. Not much control there.
No, it definitely was sliding out as he was stepping on the base. He may have had control right when he caught it, but you can see it starts to slide, and all of a sudden, it's out of the glove.
That slider misses outside. The count goes to 2-1.
Gordon's young career has faced Bonine twice, 1 for 2 off of him. So
he's got a good pitch to here at the hit at 3-1. One out here in the first inning. Tigers have been a terrific defensive team this year. That misses low and away, and so Gordon Beckham draws a walk.
Good eye by the youngster. Gordon having a great year, and I know everyone up here in Chicago is keeping their fingers crossed that he gets that Rookie of the Year.
He's got some competition. Love to see Gordon win that. I talked to him before the game, and I asked if he was satisfied with this year. And he
I'd
said,
be surprised if he said he wasn't.
No, he said he was not satisfied with this year. He said, how can I be satisfied when I'm hitting in the 260s?
I guarantee the times I've talked to him, it's also the team's not winning.
A.J. Przinsky looks at a fastball away. He's hit 13 home runs, driven in 49, hitting .307. It's been a great year for A.J. And now that he's been occupying the 3 spot in the batting order, he's starting to drive in a lot more runs.
Yeah, I think that was a big misconception with A.J. He doesn't drive in a lot, but where he was in the order, there were not a lot of opportunities.
Ground ball to second, easy double play. Santiago across, and just like the first inning, the bottom of the first ends on a double play. We'll be back. Book a White Sox group outing or party area today. You can save on each ticket for a group of 20 or more fans, whether it's a warning track, fan deck, or individual game diamond suites. They're all available. Book a group outing or party area by calling 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. So Jake Peavy, who gave him a base hit, heading into the top of the second inning with one of the league's best, Miguel Cabrera. Hitting .329, 31 home runs, 96 driven in. On base percentage just under 400. He looks at a fastball up and in.
Exactly the type of player every ball club wishes they had hitting number 4.
That one fouled straight back. And you've seen a lot of good young hitters. From the day he came into the major leagues, was there any doubt that he was going to hit wherever he went?
No, exactly right, Steve. There's some players that come in like a Gordon Beckham that when you see him, and you see how he approaches the plate and how he approaches the game, uses all the field, and all of a sudden has power as well, you can start thinking this kid's something special.
Well, back in 2003 with the Florida Marlins, they put him in right field for the playoffs. He had never played it before. Shows you his versatility. Slider misses low and away, and the count evens at 2-2. There is no score with nobody out here in the top of the second inning. It's Jake Peavy making his second start. He appears to have pretty good stuff tonight. That one fouled back.
Seems to have very good location, too. In that first at-bat, even though Witt gave up one base hit, he was hitting those corners, with the exception of that leadoff fastball down the middle that Granderson hit pretty well. It's nice to see him looking healthy, at least.
That slider misses down, and the count goes full. I talked to Rod Allen, one of the broadcasters from the Tigers, and he said to me, "You think Peavy will be good tonight?" I said, "I think he will be very good tonight." Because I think he was a little rusty the first time out against Kansas City, but showed enough really good stuff that this guy knows how to pitch. Fouled straight back again as Cabrera got a good piece of it. When you hit a fastball and it was in the zone, you fouled it straight back. Did you believe you were on it?
I tried to tell myself I was on it, but I knew I was getting beat. After that, I'm thinking, okay, let me choke up a little bit more, widen the stance, and let's see if I can just put one in play here.
That ball fouled off to the right side, so the count holds full.
No, I think you're right. I think a lot of the hitters sometimes get that misnomer that I was right on it and I just missed it. Well, if you were right on it, you wouldn't have just missed it.
Another fastball. That time Jake dropped down from the side, something we haven't seen a lot of. And Cabrera continues to battle. See, Aubrey Huff, the DH, is in the on-deck circle. He was added from the Baltimore Orioles. That one misses inside, and Cabrera is going to draw a walk leading off the inning, and that's never a real good thing. However, you do have Aubrey Huff, who's rounded into 14 double plays this year. Certainly not known for his speed. With the Tigers, he's been somewhat disappointing, hitting .202. Overall 245, and the mystery to me was how a guy who last year hit .304, 32 home runs, 108 driven in for Baltimore, who was going nowhere, did not get traded last year when he had a tremendous amount of value. Instead, he gets traded this year, and here he is with the Tigers. Looks at a fastball up.
Well, sometimes you think smarter minds are in the front office, but that isn't necessarily always the case.
I thought Huff had a whole lot of value to a contending team last year, but Andy McPhail decided to keep him around.
As did I. Sometimes someone like this is so good in the clubhouse. Good slider there by Jake. That you want him around the youngsters a little bit longer, just to give them a little sense of what it takes to be successful at the major leagues, and knowing they had a lot of young kids coming up, that might have been some of the thought process.
That might have been it, or he couldn't get the deal he wanted, and he held out for something that he wanted a little bit more. Right at Konerko. This should be 2. Over to Ramirez. Back to Peavy. He misses the bag at first. And so Jake there, a little late. He's shaking his head. He realizes that you've got to sprint to the bag because Paul is good enough. And again, Jake doesn't know these guys real well. Paul's good enough where if he's going to his right, that's a double play if you get to the bag.
I think you're exactly right. He looks at him and not sure, is Paul going to follow the throw or just stop and shuffle back. Tried to hustle over at that point, but again, didn't have enough time to make a nice turn and find the base. Alexi actually did a good job of letting up on the throw a little bit, putting it right over the bag, leading him just a little, but unfortunately safe.
Carlos Guillen comes up, hitting .255, 11 home runs, 39 driven in. He was hurt for a good portion of this year. Swings at a high fastball, and it's strike one.
This is one of those guys that Detroit needs to step up and play well, especially this last week if they want to A, win the division, or B, go anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, all of his power is from the left side. Of the 11 home runs, 10 have come as a left-hand hitter, and that's how he looks out at Jake Peavy. Guillen's been a good hitter for a long time, originally out of the Houston Astro organization. Little looper to left field. That's a base hit. One thing to bear in mind, Mike, and you know this as well as anybody, being a veteran of 7 parts of seasons in the major leagues. Sox have already given the Tigers 1 extra out this inning. When you do that to a good team, the Tigers aren't a great team, but they're a good team. That usually comes back to bite you.
Very true. I mean, Mantra, I was very fortunate to come up with the Dodgers, a very good organization in terms of teaching the young kids about the game and thinking along lines of the game. 27 outs. You don't want to give them more than 27 because those 27 are going to be plenty for them to score a lot of runs.
Brandon Inge looks at a slider away. He's at 27 home runs, driven in 79. The average, not much to write home about at .234, but this guy has a tremendous amount of power. Runners at first and second, 1 out here in the top of the 2nd inning. Outfield straight away, and he can't check his swing. So says Mark Carlson, and the count evens at 1-1. It's a cool night in Chicago. Had a little rain before the game, but the rain has cleared out. Infield looking for 2. A fastball misses the outside corner. The count goes to 2-1. Detroit is not a particularly fast team. They've got Granderson at the top with 20 stolen bases. And the rest of this lineup is very much station to station. Huff does not have good speed out at second base. Runners lead away, and Inge can't check his swing. That was a sidearm slider that he missed by 1.5 feet.
Again, you talked about the difference in a Cabrera and an Inge this year, with someone hitting .330 versus .230. Peavy dropped down on Cabrera. He was able to pick up the release point and lay off of it. Inge wasn't, and even though that wasn't close, when you lose that release point and all of a sudden you see the velocity coming out, you may assume it's a fastball because of the speed, but not being able to pick up the rotation, didn't quite pick up that slider action and couldn't check up on the swing.
That's why he's fanned 155 times. That ball is fouled off to the right. Inge leads the Tigers in strikeouts, and this is a team that can really strike out.
Yeah.
Granderson has 134, and Cabrera surprisingly with 101. But I'll take his strikeouts to get his runs driven in and home runs.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Oh, he got him. Good hard slider, and for the 156th time, Brandon Inge goes down on strikes.
Great pitch here by Peavy. Again, a good hard slider, and AJ realizing he's not picking up that slider rotation very early, not afraid to come back to it and make Jake throw it out of the zone. Inge goes ahead and chases it. Strike 3.
That brings up Alex Avila. He's the son of the vice president and assistant general manager, Al Avila. Avila hitting .286, 5 home runs, 14 driven in. Good hard slider inside, and it's strike 1. He's playing in just his 26th game. Only has 56 at-bats. And he had a rapid rise to the major leagues. 5th round draft choice last year. Was a fastball right by him, and quickly Avila's in a 0-2 hole.
Yeah, something about a minor league slider versus a Jake Peavy slider that I'm sure AJ is going to probably work all night long if he gives him the opportunity.
Outfield straight away, not overly deep, although Avila does have pretty decent power. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Jake Peavy gets out of it, and we head to the bottom of the 2nd with no score. Treated to dinner by the good folks over at Giordano's Pizza. Giordano's has been a sponsor for the Sox as well as the Cubs all season long, so we'd like to send out our thanks to them. Looks like the entire staff ate pretty well before tonight's game. It's going to be Paul Konerko leading off the bottom of the second inning. There is no score in this one. The Tigers have the only 2 hits of the game, and it's been an errorless game. The rest of this series shapes up with Nate Robertson against Freddie Garcia. That game at 6:05 tomorrow night, and then concludes on Sunday. Edwin Jackson, who's having a terrific year, against Daniel Hudson. That game at 1:05. So this is the first of 3, the final 3 home games of the year for the Sox.
I'm not sure about you, Steve, but that pizza looked awfully good.
And they sent up a total of none of it. Good fastball for a strike. And quickly Bonine ahead. He doesn't have the kind of stuff that would lead you to believe that he can work behind very often.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thought. Again, good lesson for those young pitchers out there. Get ahead if you don't have overpowering stuff, because strike zone becomes wider, and the hitters now start to have to look for your pitch instead of them looking for their pitch.
Talked to Rick Knapp, the pitching coach, and he pretty much said the same thing, that he doesn't have anything that will pop your eyes, but he's around the plate and he does a lot of things well. He's behind now, 2-1. And by doing a lot of things well, he fields well, he holds base runners well. And if you don't have overpowering stuff, that means you're going to be in the stretch a lot, and you're going to have to do the things well, like covering bunts and holding base runners. That one fouled back, and the count goes to 2-2.
Well, love to get your thought on this. Do you have to have a 95, 98-mile-an-hour fastball to be successful, or if you can throw a changeup on one side, a curve on the other, fast and soft, what really makes a successful pitcher?
Look at Mark Burley, and he's the definition of a guy that 9 straight years has gone over 200 innings and has a fastball about 86 to 88. He gets him. That was a sinker. Bonine is not a strikeout pitcher, but fastball Konerko to lead off in the bottom of the second inning.
Bottom just dropped out of this pitch. I'm sure the Sox players are saying, hopefully that's not going to be the case all night long. This guy has a 6 ERA, but that was a nasty pitch.
That's a variation of his 3-finger change that Rick Knapp talked about. Again, a work in progress, but that was a good one. Lexi Ramirez with 15 home runs, 67 driven in, hitting .280 this year. We'd like to improve on that a little as we go down the final 9 games that the Sox have this year. Drops that fastball over the inside corner, and Alexi in an 0-2 hole.
And that was that infamous batting practice fastball. Not quite a changeup, but definitely not the fastball.
0-2 pitch, and he gets him on a slider. So 2 up and 2 strikeouts, and our Heineken picks to click. The Crew, trailing a touch, have Paul Konerko. I took Jermaine Dye off a red-hot night last night, and Hawk and Mike took Chris Getz. So a tremendous battle between Hawk and I at 22 and 22, but he's not here to judge tonight. That fastball down the middle. So because of that wonderful catch by Jermaine Dye, I'm thinking that he's going to be the pick to click.
As of right now, if it had to end, I'd have to agree with you.
Jermaine, 27 and 78 on the power numbers, and Bonine just keeps throwing strikes. He's ahead of Jermaine, 0-2.
And Avila doing a great job of mixing up the pitches. Again, a lot of times, I think people, as you're watching on TV, you think it's the pitcher who's deciding the pitches. Always the catcher.
To start with. That fastball inside. And I always had a saying, people said, who called the game? And I said, well, the catcher would put down the fingers, and then I would make the final decision, until somebody showed me a column that said losing catcher. That column says losing pitcher.
Very true. Have to agree with you on that one.
0-2 count. There's Jermaine Dye. He looks out at Eddie Bonine and looks at a fastball low and away.
When you would be helping the young pitchers as they would come up. Would you see more often the manager or the catcher trying to call a game for the younger pitchers until they got a sense of the major league hitters and the styles of the major league hitters, their strengths and weaknesses?
Well, there's no doubt. That ball just missed him inside. Count evens at 2. Most young pitchers don't have a real good feel yet for the art of pitching. They come up and they're throwers. And so it's always good if you're a young pitcher to have a veteran catcher. And if you have 2 young people behind the plate and on the mound, you better have a real good pitching coach calling the pitches. It's fouled off down the line. The count holds at 2. It's Gavin Floyd. I talked with him before the game about his hip, and he said it's there, but he said it's still sore. So unfortunately this year Gavin was troubled by that hip, maybe a little bit more than he talked about, and I think it really stood in the way of him having another big year. Gavin's going to be real good next year. Last year 17-8. He's really learning how to pitch. Don Cooper's done a great job with his staff, but especially Gavin Floyd.
Well, you look at him and Danks, and now with Peavy, you can just look at the tenacity. You got Burley, who is a bulldog. Peavy looks like every time he misses a pitch, he's going to get angry at himself. And with these 2 youngsters coming up that are just looking like they're blossoming in front of our eyes, the future looks awfully bright for us.
Well, if you factor Freddie Garcia, who has been the best Sox pitcher over the last 7 starts, at number 5, the starting rotation looks solid for next year, assuming that everybody comes back healthy. So the count goes full at 3-2. And that fastball catches the outside corner. Mark Carlson rings him up, and Eddie Bonine strikes out the side. We move to the top of the 3rd. There's no score. Bring your friends and family to U.S. Cellular Field as the White Sox take on the Tigers this weekend. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. So Jake Peavy has to face Ramon Santiago leading off. The top of the 3rd inning, Santiago, 267 with 7 home runs, 31 driven in. He's been particularly tough against the Sox. Looks at a fastball for a strike, and along with Adam Everett, they provide a pretty good combination at shortstop for the Tigers, who, by the way, have committed 1 error in their last 21 games back to September 2nd. This is an outstanding defensive team. There's a bunt. Tough play. And Paul can't get him, and Jake didn't get over there again. And so, a good push bunt by Santiago.
To your point, you've got a new pitcher with a new infielder. I'm sure he was caught a little bit off guard with this, but again, regardless, pitchers in, you see him start to come forward, and I think at that point he realized Santiago was already by him. Might as well just make sure I don't hurt myself.
Back to the top of the order, and Curtis Granderson, who lined out to the wall leading off the game on a first ball fastball. Jake throws over to first. And Santiago is back. Santiago, not much speed. 1 stolen base in 3 attempts.
Which is really surprising when you look at how he got down that line.
Fastball for a strike, and the last time up on the first pitch of the game, Granderson puts a charge into it, and Jermaine Dye goes back to the wall and makes just an outstanding catch. And just misses low and in with a slider, evens count at 1-1. Granderson has 19 home runs on the road. And you can understand it because you've seen that park in Detroit. That is spacious.
That is very spacious. I mean, you think about the old Tiger Stadium and the fact that it was deep in center. This one is deep everywhere now.
Good stop by AJ. He digs one out of the dirt. The count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, to that point. I mean, AJ, I think that's another area that he is maligned and overlooked sometimes. When he has to put his mind to it, he's going to block everything for his pitchers.
He's a big catcher with pretty good mobility. And he's just had a real strong year overall. Right at Paul, he turns around to Ramirez. Back to first, no chance that time. Granderson just too fast. So Granderson unhappy with that at bat. But no chance to get to that time. And again, Jake is talking with Paul about
this time
what
Jake
he wants him to do.
Real well, though.
Yep.
Paul wasn't going to take any chances, not having to go toward second base when he fielded it. He was going to come back and take it himself and letting Jake know he's got it taken care of. But as you said, talking about it a little bit afterwards, at what point do you want me there and what point do you want to take it?
Well, Jake's only in his second game as a Sox pitcher. So he's got to get to know these guys just like they have to get to know him.
Well, and in spring training, isn't it virtually every day you guys are out there working with your first baseman and catchers?
Don't forget, he was sidelined, not with an arm injury, with an ankle injury. So you can understand, although he said almost from the beginning that the ankle was not an issue. Polanco looks out at Peavy, and he takes a fastball inside. He's singled in the first inning, and he's going to be a free agent. And the thought around Detroit, because they're locked into some very bad, very expensive contracts, at least through next year and some through the year after, they might not be able to afford Polanco. Good bunt. That one will stay fair. You got to put it in your pocket. So they bunted their way into first and second. That's what you have to love about Polanco. He took a look at Beckham. Beckham was back. He lays down a perfect bunt, doesn't tip it.
Very true. I mean, this is something that you have to practice over the years. Head was still, barrel was out in front of the bat, in front of the plate. So as soon as it was hit right on the edge of that grass, like you said, great job by Gordon not trying to do anything with a great bunt.
Maglio Ordonez with runners at first and second. 4 Tiger hits. You've got 1 out in the 3rd inning. Ordonez grounded into a double play to end the 1st inning. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Outfield shading around toward right center. The infield just a little back of halfway. They're looking for 2. Since the knee injury, Maglio just doesn't run real well anymore. Right back at Jake. The second easily back to first. Double play out of the inning, and we're going into the bottom of the 3rd. There is no score.
the inside scoop on the White Sox, check out my blog, The Sox Drawer, at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
Magler Ordonez has been up twice. He's accounted for 4 outs. And this one he hit right back to Jake Peavy, who spins, makes a high throw, but it's easy after that. And if you're a sinker baller and you can get 2 outs with 1 pitch, you can get out of a lot of jams. Tigers have 4 hits, but no runs through their 3 innings. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd. It's Carlos Quentin hitting .231, 17 home runs, 46 driven in. Outfield straight away. Granderson pretty deep in center. Slow breaking ball for a strike. Would you ever swing at a first ball, first slow curve, get me over?
Never. I think most hitters go up there with a frame of mind of 1 pitch, 1 location. I think everyone here in Chicago, I know, is happy that Carlos is healthy, hoping he can find that magic at the end of this year that he had last year and hopefully take it into next year. But absolutely right. If you're going up there thinking of hitting any pitch in any location, you're not really going to do much damage, and you're probably not going to be a good hitter.
Well, this has been an injury-plagued year in the offseason. Carlos is going to have the pin taken out of his wrist. Hopefully that plantar fasciitis will be healthy and his knee will be 100% heading into next year. One chopped foul on the third base side.
I'm getting sore just thinking about all those things. And I don't have to go out there and try to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
No, it's been a really tough year for him, and I know a frustrating year for him. Last year, hitting 3rd in the lineup every day, had a magnificent year. This year, not that good. As he pops one up, Polanco goes out. Ordonez comes in, he calls him off, and he makes the play. I was talking with Rick Knapp, the pitching coach. An interesting story, because he spent 26 years in the minor leagues and was with the Texas Rangers and Minnesota. Never even got a sniff at the major leagues. And then one day he got a phone call, said that Jim Leyland would like to talk with him. And he couldn't imagine what he wanted to talk with him about. That one misses low and in. Chris Getz hitting .266 with a couple of home runs and 31 driven in. And Jim Leyland wanted to interview him to be the pitching coach of the Tigers. Offered at that one. Count goes to 1-1. So Jim Leyland said one thing, and in telling me this story, as I talked to both of them, he said, if a guy spends 26 years in the minor leagues, you know one thing. Because I spent 18 years in the minor leagues, you know that guy loves baseball. And so after 26 years of going all over the country, he's finally got his chance to be a major league pitching coach. 1-2 count, and that one misses low and away. And in talking with Rick, he said he was so nervous when he went to Jim Leyland, met him in the parking lot in Lakeland. He said, "What are you nervous about?" He goes, well, I mean, just pretty nervous. He said, "Well, you really shouldn't be. I'm going to give you the job. That is, if you want to take it." And Rick said, "If I want to take it, well, let's see." "Yeah, okay, I'll take it."
I'm sure it took him all of a nanosecond to decide on that one.
I said, "Did you ask him about salary?" He goes, "Wasn't a factor."
Was not a factor. Just get me here.
2-2 pitch, grounded right at Placido Polanco. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down. Sox hitless through 8 hitters. They only have a walk to Beckham, and that was erased on the double play.
Sometimes first time you're seeing a pitcher, it takes one time through the lineup. Unfortunately, we've already seen him once, so I'm sure no one wanted the game to start off this way. 8 up and 8 down.
Alex Rios comes on hitting .242, 16 home runs, 67 driven in. Fastball misses down. Like to send along birthday greetings to Peggy Lyons. Big Sox fan, 86 years old today.
Happy birthday.
You got to get those in early.
Early and often, as I always say.
Another fastball misses down. And for one of the few times tonight, Eddie Bonine is behind a Sox hitter.
Well, you talked about Jermaine, his good game he had a couple nights ago. I was here at the ballpark, and Alex had a couple really nice at-bats and one line drive that might have gotten about 10 feet off the ground that the center fielder caught, about 370 feet away from home plate.
Now it goes to 3-0. Nothing to nothing game. Occasionally you'd like to see Ozzie turn these guys loose at 3-0, especially guys with the power to hit the ball out of the park. Fastball right down the middle.
Well, and sometimes even if you get a signal that says go ahead and swing, you are so conditioned not to, it's sometimes more difficult to relax your body and say, I'm going to take a nice loose swing because you're not ever used to swinging at 3-0.
Good slider on the outside corner, and if you can get anything other than a fastball over the plate in a fastball count, you got a chance at least to be successful. So the count goes full. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. There is no score. And that one is fouled off. 09 thrown real well. Probably would have had very little, if any, chance to pitch on this team, but for a lot of injuries to the starting rotation. But he's getting his opportunity now in what for the Tigers is the biggest game they'll play this year.
Exactly. Every one at this point is so critical.
Fastball misses inside, and so Alex Rios, the second Sox base runner. He swiped 21 bases this year, been caught 4 times. And Avila doesn't have near the arm or the release of Gerald Laird. Laird has thrown out 42% of the men who have tried to steal against him. And there's a lot of people around Detroit that think that he should win the Gold Glove. Now, they also know that Joe Mauer probably will win the Gold Glove because he's hitting in the 370s, which should have nothing to do with it, but always does. Scotty Pods looks change-up off the outside corner.
Again, that's a good job by Scotty Pod not swinging at that pitch. 0-0 count, change-up right on the black. Let it go. You got 2 more strikes.
He grounded to Cabrera, who flipped to Bonine in the first inning. They're going. Throw to second base. It's on the money, and they cut him down. So we head to the top of the 4th inning. No score. By who was the last White Sox pitcher to no-hit the Tigers? We'll have the answer for you later. Tremendous throw by Alex Avila.
Yeah, he was sitting up high, had the fastball, had a great release right over the bag. You could argue was the foot in there before, but with a throw like that in the location, more often than not, the umpire is going to say, you're out.
And the umpire is going to say you're out. to Miguel Cabrera, who shattered the bat. Got an inside fastball and is left with nothing to show for it but a pop out to Paul Konerko. So quickly, 1 up and 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning.
And a lot of other pieces of wood all over the place. I mean, tell me, what is the difference? You hear about certain pitchers that are smooth and the ball just pops out of their hands, and they may not throw it 100, but it seems like it is, versus those that look like they're muscle up throwing hard, and it only gets there at about 88, 89. I mean, what's the reason behind that?
I just think it's arm elasticity, and usually you find youngsters who have a little more elasticity than the older pitchers around. Count evens at 1-1 for Aubrey Huff. Rounded into a force out in the 2nd inning.
Great location by Jake again. Like seeing that.
He's throwing it where he wants to. And that one rifled down at Paul. Konerko puts it away easily and quickly 2 up and 2 down. Mark your calendars. Sox Fest 2010 will take place at the Palmer House Hilton January 22nd through the 24th, presented by Miller Lite, Pepsi, and the Palmer House Hilton. For more information, visit www.whitesox.com/community. Carlos Guillen, who singled back in the 2nd inning. 4 singles against Jake Peavy. No score in this one. Throws a fastball right by Guillen. And in the other game of tremendous interest to the Tigers, the Twins leading Kansas City 1-0. That game in the bottom of the 3rd. Now Kansas City has tied it up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. The game tied at 1. Good hard slider, and the count moves to 0-2. And with a little mist in the air for Dan Bernstein, it looks like the Hound of the Baskervilles is ready to lope across the moors.
Love watching that movie. Basil
Rathbone, yes.
Always nice seeing him as a good guy, not always the bad guy against Errol Flynn. It is great being back in Chicago, Steve, I got to tell you.
Well, you've been here for 3 months now, and you're with the Bull Sox Academy and doing a great job. What a wonderful thing that is.
Well, again, something that was started a number of years ago, and reaching out to the community, both with basketball camps and lessons, fast pitch as well as baseball. It's just so exciting to be back a part of the White Sox organization and doing something in the community for the kids.
I know we love to have you back here, and anything involving kids is a good thing. Good slider down, inning over. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning. No score. Our Aflac trivia question. Who was the last White Sox pitcher to no-hit the Tigers? And the answer, Joel Horland. September 10th, 1967. Sox won 6-0. Hawk Harrelson had a big year. Boston was king. Karl Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown. And for those of you missing Hawk, as we all are, he's away on some family business. Mike Huff sitting in for him. And Scott Posednik leading off the bottom of the fourth. He was standing when Rios was gunned down by Alex Avila. So I'm not sure if you know this, Mike, but Eddie Bonine has a no-hitter.
And it's 9 batters up and 9 batters down, making it look way too easy.
Two hopper right at Polanco. And there's one out here in the fourth with Gordon Beckham, who drew a base on balls in the first inning. Bonine has walked 2. He's fanned 3. And that's been it as far as the offense. 4 hits in this game, all singles, all belonging to Detroit. It's been an errorless game. Wind starting to pick up a bit. That slider misses down.
Well, as we talked about, hoping the second time through the lineup our fortunes will change. Unfortunately, Scotty didn't quite get the barrel all the way around and ground ball to second.
The fastball misses on the inside corner, so Gordon in control of this at bat. He's ahead 2-0. And getting a slider over in a fastball situation. As Gordon,
well, as you spoke about before,
right?
Yeah, as you spoke about before, if you're a major league pitcher and you can throw any other pitch for a strike besides the fastball and the fastball count, you got a chance to be successful.
That one chopped foul.
And now you can see Gordon getting upset with himself, saying, "Okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Again, a good curveball. This time I picked it up and it was still out of the zone, and I still swung at it.
Well, talking with Rick Knapp about Bonine, when he told me about all the good things he does, besides having overwhelming stuff, I said, if you don't do those things and your stuff isn't overwhelming, you're out selling meat. That sinker goes low and away, and the count goes full. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Ground ball to shortstop. Santiago gets it across easily, and quickly they're 2 up and 2 down. Visit the official online shop of the White Sox at whitesox.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the whitesox.com shop. Tigers have 2 more after tonight left here in Chicago. Then they go home and play Minnesota for 4. And then we go there to end the season for 3. Good slider. And A.J. is behind 0-1. He grounded into a double play to end that first inning. A lot of young Sox fans on hand tonight.
Eager to see some fireworks. Hopefully A.J. can get it going.
Center field. Granderson. He's there to make the play easily. And so the no-hitter is intact. We move to the top of the 5th inning. There is no score.
If you're a baseball player between the ages of 5 and 18, the White Sox Training Academy in Lisle, LaGrange, Tinley Park in Northwest Indiana is now registering for fall training programs. Register at bullsoxacademy.com or call 630-PLAY-BALL.
Outstanding effort on the drop.
Thank you very much.
That one misses low and away. Inge was a strikeout victim back in the second inning. And he's got two very bad knees. At this time of year, I would say everybody's hurting a little bit. You remember late in the season getting a chance to play most every day. You couldn't feel 100%.
No, one of the big misnomers about baseball is that you're going to be able to stay healthy, but when you're playing every day with maybe 1 day off every 2 weeks, the minute you twinge a little bit of something, you're not going to have time to rest it. You just have to play right through it. Especially
when you're in the hunt and they have a 3-game lead in the Central.
And you know they're hearing footsteps behind them. Unfortunately, they're not ours.
No, this wasn't the kind of year that everybody associated with the White Sox was looking for. It's 73 and 80 coming into this one. 2-2 pitch. Sweeping slider. AJ wants an appeal, and Kerwin Danley rings him up. I would think we got a break there.
I would think so. I think Kerwin's still remembering that first inning bobble by Bonine that he's going to try to make up for it. Sure doesn't look like Brendan went. But we'll take it.
It's good to get the benefit of some calls as Vila looks out at a sinker away. He was a strikeout victim to end the second inning. He got to the big leagues very quickly. A base percentage of .364, and that's pretty good. Lifts the fly ball to left field. Osednik coming on. He camps under this. And quickly 2 up, 2 down. So Jake Peavy having a very good night so far. Giving up 4 singles, 2 of them bunts. And other than that, he's held a pretty good hitting team in check.
And if you think about it, the only ball that's been hit really hard was the leadoff ball that Jermaine made a great jumping catch into the fence in right field.
Santiago lines this ball into the corner. Foul.
That's your proverbial hang with them.
Ramon Santiago has had a real good run against the Sox. Now he's a good player, but hitting into 260s coming in, but it doesn't matter what he's hitting. Every time he gets a chance to play against the Sox, seems like he's doing something real well.
All right, here's the question. For you, what was the team that you knew going into you were going to get a win, and which was the team that you always seem to struggle with?
Struggle with the Tigers. The reason is that every guy that I couldn't get out when I was in the National League, they traded to the Tigers. So when I went to the American League, they happened to be there. Couldn't get out Johnny Grubb. He got traded from the National League from San Diego to the Tigers. That ball fouled off. Now it holds at 1-2. I couldn't get out Rusty Staub. He was with the Mets. He gets traded. Winds up with the Tigers. Jake Peavy at the 60 pitch mark. As that ball gets away, now it evens at 2-2.
Yeah,
as far as guaranteed win night,
Rusty got a lot of.
Rusty was
got a lot of pitchers.
A tremendous hitter. And late in his career, he was the single most observant pinch hitter I had ever seen, because he would just stare at you out on the mound. Count goes full, and when I stare at you, he knew that you were going to tip something. And then he talked to his teammates about whatever idiosyncrasy he could find, and eventually, I bet you that he had more than half the pitcher's pitches
before he went to the plate.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He was just outstanding in that capacity. Full count, fouled off. So Santiago tries to keep it alive.
White Sox, when I was playing here in the early 90s, we had a bench coach, Joe Nosek, who was the same way. Joe could pick up the third base coach's signals for the other team or what pitchers were tipping pitches off. Jake, another good hard fastball, fouled off by Santiago. And it wasn't necessarily every pitch, but Joe could always find one. So if you all of a sudden as a hitter, pitcher has 3 good pitches, you knew when one of them was coming, it just, again, a nice, relaxing, comforting feeling would come over you.
Full count, and he gets it. We get into the bottom of the 5th inning. It's scoreless. Well, thanks, our Chuck, and a fine-looking tie as we head into the bottom of the 5th inning. As you can see, zeros across for the Sox as Paul Konerko leads it off. Eddie Bonine struck out the side in the 2nd inning, and Paul was the first man he faced.
Time to change up our fortunes. Hey, I also want to throw a shout out to Peter and Michelle Kane. Good family friends and also huge Sox fans up on the north side. Sometimes those are few and far between.
Well, happy birthday to a big Sox fan, Linda McElhaney.
Happy birthday, Linda.
1-1 pitch. Eddie Bonine misses inside.
Time to break up those zeros.
Outfield straight away. Infield playing Paul a touch to pull. Fastball over the outside corner.
Again, not overpowering, but when you have that type of accuracy, you can hit those locations in and out with different pitches. It becomes pretty difficult as a hitter to try to get into a comfort zone or a groove. Even sitting on the bench, you can't get into any kind of pattern.
Slider misses down. That fastball was at 87. And so if you can change the speed to your fastball, you can get a hitter guessing fastball and get it and still not be on it because he can't guess the speed. You can make your fastball 3 pitches, and the good ones do that. Greg Maddux was the master at it. Little looper to left field. But unfortunately, Guillen right there. Now, he doesn't have great speed. He's an infielder by trade. But they say that if he can't get to it, he will make the play.
Well, that was the pride of the outfield when I was here in the early 90s, and I know a lot of these guys have that same type of pride. If you can get to it, if you can put some leather on it, it was going to be caught. With the pitchers that we have, they're going to keep you in the game. So you've got to be on your toes, whether you're an infielder or an outfielder.
Let's see Ramirez. Fouls off a sinker. That's one of the areas where the Sox have to improve in, and I think just by having Rios in center field most of next year, they will improve defensively. This has been a very tough year for the Sox as far as the defense goes. They lead the American League in errors with 111. Ground ball in the hole. Santiago pours it across. Out at first. It looked to me like he beat it. I think Kerwin Danley's having a real bad night at first base. Looked to me like Cabrera was up in the air when Ramirez crossed the bag, and we'll take another look.
Well, and this is the second time. I mean, a great job by Santiago righting himself, but almost overthrew this. Cabrera goes up nicely, but clearly Ramirez is in there. Just like on that flip, it's almost like Kerwin is looking at something that we're not.
Well, you're not going to win that argument because it's a judgment call, but Cabrera goes up as high as he can go. And before he can get down, Ramirez is on the bat. However, the no-hitter continues, and we have 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Well, and that's a good point. Sometimes, as an umpire, as a scorekeeper, you want to make that first hit legitimate. I'm sorry. I don't care how legitimate it is. If a guy's safe, he's safe, and you can give the shortstop an error on that one.
I think that would have probably gone E6 anyway. However, it's a moot point. As Jermaine Dye comes up, and there you look at Kerwin Danley, who's had better nights at first. That one misses low and away. The count evens at 1. Jermaine was the 3rd of 3 strikeouts back in the 2nd inning. Ground night at 6:05. Nate Robertson and Freddie Garcia. Sunday, Edwin Jackson, Daniel Hudson at 1:05, and that's the final home game of the year. Talking with Jim Leland, he's really impressed with Daniel Hudson. He said he watched him in the start he had. He said that guy's got terrific stuff. He's 22 years old. And Leland said that the ball moved everywhere.
Yeah, when you get praise like that from Jim Leland, I mean, obviously there's something good going on there. And again, just goes to show you what type of manager winning managers do. They're watching other players. They're watching other teams as much as they're watching their own.
The appeal to first base, and Kerwin Danley was not about to call that a swing. 3-1 count on Jermaine Dye, and he takes a walk. So the inning stays alive for Carlos Quentin.
One swing in the bat, and we can have a 2-0 game here.
Carlos 0 for 1, a soft fly out to right field back in the 3rd inning.
As you talked about, when Carlos is healthy, his bat goes through the strike zone, goes through that hitting zone so lightning quick.
He also has tremendous power to right center. We haven't seen a whole lot of that this year. That fastball misses down. If you're not hitting off a solid base, and it's tough when you've got a bad foot to hit off a solid base, you're not going to be able to drive the ball to right center field. Last year we saw a lot of that.
Well, in addition to that, when you're hitting 230, 240 versus 320 or 330,
chopper to short, and that's the end of the inning. So we'll head to the top of the 6th. Sox don't have a hit. There are no runs. of the battle between the Bears and the Seahawks on U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live. Pat Boyle of former Bears, Jim Miller, Jerry Azuma, and Dan Jiggets break down all the action. Plus, Skip Lewis brings you interviews with the players. U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live Sunday, immediately after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. That one's skied. Lexi Ramirez under it, and he makes the play. So quickly for Granderson, who was first pitch hunting. He pops it up. He's now 0 for 3.
Granderson, really a unique ball player. When you think about who do you want leading off, you think about someone fast. He's got 20 stolen bases. No one else on their team has more than 7, but he's got 134 strikeouts.
This is a real disappointing year for him because he's in the 240s. Polanco looks at a fastball for a strike. He's 2 for 2. A couple of singles, wiped out by 2 double play ground balls off the bat of Mags Ordonez. That chopper in the infield. Tough play for Getz. Bare hand. Forget it.
Chris did just about everything he could on this one. Sometimes you just, as we saw with Gordon earlier on that bunt, it's better to put it in your pocket and not risk an error and just leave the man at first, especially, like you said, knowing who's coming up next. 2 double plays. Hopefully Mags can make it 3. Again, good pitch. You can see Jake almost shrugging his shoulders, knowing beforehand that it was going to be a base hit on another cheap one. See it right here. All of a sudden, he's just like, no. Here comes Chris, and again, smart play, not throwing it away.
Magler Ordonez 0 for 2. Little looper into left field for a base hit. That's the 6th single. And none of them hit particularly hard. So runners at first and second, only 1 out. For the man in the middle who's the best hitter in this lineup, Miguel Cabrera, as AJ goes to the mound. He wants to talk with Jake Peavy. It's a 0-0 game. We're in the top of the 6th inning. We're joined by Denise Huff, lovely wife of Mike Huff. Nice to have you in the booth with us.
I tell you what, only 69 pitches so far. Jake's got to be feeling good.
We went 5 innings the first time out. Said he felt a little rusty. Tonight, he's kept it to a minimum of pitches, and he's looking for a ground ball off the bat of their best hitter. Cabrera has 96 runs driven in, and he looks at a slider low. Cabrera's grounded into 20 double plays this year.
I was going to say, the next couple batters are not afraid, including Mags, to hit into double plays. Hopefully Jake can keep the ball down and let the infield do the work behind him.
That one fouled off, and the count evens at 1-1. Cabrera came over from the Florida Marlins. The Tigers really wanted Miguel Cabrera because they understood that he was as good a right-hand hitter as there was going to be in the American League. But the price was also taking Dontrell Willis, who they gave a 3-year extension, and he's one of the reasons why they might lose Placido Polanco. That ball popped up. AJ looking for some room. He runs out of room. That ball in about the 3rd row. So a 1-2 count as Peavy continues to try to bury the ball inside to Miguel Cabrera. Ordonez, who hit that soft single to left field, coming into this game hitting .413 in now 20 September games. So although the power hasn't been there, the average has. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. That slider just missed inside. The count evens at 2-2.
I'm sure Jake would like to have that one back a little bit closer in the zone. Even if it was out, he might have gotten him swinging.
Two pitch, fouled off. I'm sure you've had a chance to see both Cabrera and Albert Pujols. Any similarities between the two?
Oh, I just think the way their balance is at the plate. I mean, that's the biggest thing. For hitters, again, most important thing is keeping your head still, seeing the ball, giving your chance, giving yourself as much of a chance to hit it inside, outside, high or low, and picking up the rotation.
There's a fastball right by him. set him up with a slider, wiped him out with the fastball. Strikeout number 6 for Peavy.
Now that was a great pitch, and again, part of this is the fact that this ball is actually a little bit up in the zone when the 2 sliders before, the sinker in and the slider out, were down. So Cabrera's eyes might have been pointed down, but look at how still that head is. Just a great pitch by Jake, throwing it right by him.
Aubrey Huff 0 for 2. Hit the ball right at Paul Konerko a couple of times. Pops this one up. AJ looking for some room. The wind taking it. And it's back in the seats.
Yeah, AJ got there quick, and again, it looked like he had a good beat on it, and I think that was more the wind than anything else, keeping that one out of play.
We told you as the game has moved along, the wind has freshened up somewhat and is a factor. It's taken a couple of balls this inning and pushed them out of play. And there you see the flags, and it's starting to rain a bit. And this the final homestand of the year. Ground ball to second, has it, goes the easy way, and the Sox are out of the inning. No scores, we head into the bottom of the 6th. We flash back to 1970 and this day when Louis Aparicio set a major league record for most games played at shortstop with 2,219 by appearing in both games of a doubleheader versus the Brewers. The Sox took game 1 5-1 behind an Ed Herman 3-run homer. The Brewers took game 2 3-2. That's our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. And there's a look at Louis. Sox looking for their first hit as Chris Getz leads it off. Looks at a fastball for a strike. He grounded out to his counterpart at second, Placido Polanco, back in the 3rd inning.
Trying not to put any pressure on Chris, but he is my cut to pick here, so.
Pops that ball up. Santiago calling for it. And Mike's pick to click has popped out. White Sox Diamond Suites are perfect for client entertainment, family parties, or a night out with friends. Provide first-class service while enjoying White Sox baseball. To reserve a Diamond Suite for a Sox game, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details. Alex Rios looks at a breaking ball for a strike. He drew a walk, was thrown out stealing to end the 3rd inning. Outfield straight away, pretty deep. Ground ball to third. Inge bobbles it. Throws to first and he can't get him. That's going to go E5. As a routine play turns into a break for the Sox, and Inge commits his 18th error Only the second error in the last 22 Tiger games.
Again, a great example here of keeping your hands too close to your body. As an infielder, you want to keep them a little bit away and then reach out and bring it up. His hands were right between his ankles, which gave him no chance, if the ball took any type of weird hop, to be able to make a minor adjustment. Good for us.
Scott Posednik, who's grounded out a couple of times, looking out at Eddie Bonine, who has a no-hitter. Runner going. Right back off the glove of Bonine. Polanco over to first base in time. Goes 1-4-3. Once again, a heads-up play by Placido Polanco. He got rid of it quickly, and even though Posednik goes down the line in a hurry, he still got him. And Kerwin Danley got that one.
Kerwin finally got one right, unfortunately for us. Again, Scotty coming out of that box hard, but Polanco making a great adjustment on it, coming up and getting rid of it very quickly.
Ozzie breaking out the hit and run. Rios got a great jump, and now it's up to Gordon Beckham, who drew a base on balls in the first, grounded a shortstop in the fourth, looking for RBI number 57. Chopper just foul at third. Ball by Ron Kulpa. Minnesota leading Kansas City now in the top of the fifth inning, 4-1. And in looking at the races, with the Yankees killing Boston, if they win that, it'll push them to 6.5 back. This is the race.
This is it. This and possibly the National League wild card, but we're down to 2.
Long drive left field, well hit and gone. It's a 2-0 game. Gordon Beckham with home run number 14. He's driven in 58. And the Sox, in one long drive, break up the no-hitter and the shutout and take a 2-0 lead.
Something I'm sure all these fans here have been waiting for a reason to get up and yell. Gordon again showing why he is more than just a rookie. Sitting back, this time seeing that little sinker, got his hands inside so he could keep the ball fair. Got the barrel on it, and the next thing you know, it's 2-0.
A.J. Przinsky looks at a fastball off the outside corner. So the Tiger error opened the door. The runs are unearned. But it's 2-0 Sox.
Just like we talked about, and you mentioned early in the broadcast here, Steve, in the major leagues, you get 27 outs, and there's a reason. You don't want to give any other team in the major league more than that. We were lucky to somehow get rid of ours with a couple double plays. At least we got them to hurt a little bit on theirs.
Gordon Beckham making a concerted effort in his push for Rookie of the Year. One of the guys we're not going to see in this series is going to be right there in the voting, and that's Porcello, their young kid. He's got 14 wins, 9 losses, and Rick Porcello's had a great year. Fly ball left field. Easy play for Guillen. He puts it away, but not before the Sox get their first hit of the game. And we head to the top of the 7th inning, leading 2-0 and a Gordon Beckham home run. Sox Post-Game Live. You'll see all the highlights, get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzie Guillen's post-game remarks. Don't miss U.S. Cellular White Sox Post-Game Live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. And you can bet with that 2-spot going up on the board, the Twins, who are leading Kansas City 4-1 in Kansas City, have to feel a little bit happy about that. Jake Peavy about ready to make his 78th pitch as Carlos Guillen leads it off. He's 1 for 2. He's hitting a strikeout. He looks at a fastball up and in.
Strange that just a couple days ago, everyone up in Minnesota was probably rooting against us, and now everyone is rooting for us. It's amazing how that changes.
Minnesota's won 9 of their last 10, including 3 in a row. And so they are the hottest team by far in our division.
Well, we have another team in our division that's going in the other direction. Cleveland.
Are ready to set their all-time record if they lose this ball game tonight.
This will be 12 in a row, won't it?
Either 12th in a row. That one's fouled off. The count moves to 1-2. So Peavy's had tremendous movement. He's given up 6 singles, a couple of bunts, a couple of bloops, and really 2 that you would say were hit hard. One was caught. The other was a base hit by Polanco, who's 3 for 3.
When you think about aces and the #1 starter, that's exactly what you think about. And that great movement, starting just on that inside part of the plate, maybe even off the plate, running right back over the middle. AJ doing a great job of setting up, and I'm sure Jake didn't want to come this far back over the plate, but you know what? Fooled Guillen enough, froze him enough. That's strike 3.
And for the second time, Guillen goes down on strikes. And that's strikeout number 7 for Peavy. There's a fastball that catches the inside corner. 30,794 paid tonight. There you look at some pretty impressive numbers. Just 1 walk to go with those 7 Ks. And a 2-0 Sox lead. Inge is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, and he's in an 0-2 hole.
And that's just overpowering. I mean, a great movement on that first strike. Yes, as Brandon, I'm not going to swing at it, hit a corner, but that one, again, inner half, a good pitch to drive. Couldn't catch up to it.
Well, there's a strikeout waiting to happen if he throws him a slider. And to set him up with a fastball, I don't think you have to, because if Jake throws a good slider, I don't think Inge can hit it with a canoe paddle. Gets another fastball looking.
I guarantee that time Inge was saying he's come in and in. I'm going to start looking away because sooner or later he's got to throw that slider, and this time I'm not going to strike out. And lo and behold, here comes another little running fastball. I don't know what he's upset about because this thing definitely had the plate.
For the 3rd time tonight, Inge is a strikeout victim. Hasn't been a good night because it was his error that opened the door. Kept that inning line for Gordon Beckham.
That's probably where that frustration was. One, not so much what he didn't do at the plate, but what he didn't do out in the field, which was get that out.
And Alex Avila, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Looking out at Jake Peavy, he's fan 8, and he keeps on pumping strikes. Very impressive outing for Peavy as Randy Williams loosens the pen.
If there is a pitch count, he's in that upper 80s, so it's got to be coming up pretty soon. Don't you think, Steve?
I would think he gets through this inning, and that would be about it.
Look at the strikes to balls. I mean, if you're having a good game, what's the ratio you want there, Steve?
Well, when Jake is right, that's about it.
3-1.
But it's a question of what kind of strikes you're throwing, and the advantage that he has tonight are the strikes around the corners. He's left very few pitches over the middle of the plate. Nine and 8 against American League opponents. That's going to get a whole lot better as that ball popped up. Gordon's going to run out of room.
Yeah, Jake just looks so comfortable out there tonight. Great crowd here rooting him on. Again, eager to just explode here. And with Beckham's 2-run shot, we saw a little bit of it, but he just looks so comfortable out there. It looks like he's really in sync with AJ as well.
3-2 pitch, misses the inside corner. That's just the second walk given up by Peavy tonight. Keeps the inning alive for Ramon Santiago. Base hit in the third, a line drive that just missed, and a strikeout swinging in the fifth. He does have some pop from the left side. Good fastball for a strike over the inside corner.
The always important, getting ahead, especially now that we're getting to these later innings with the lead.
That one on the inside corner, and Peavy has such good command, and he's able to throw the ball inside to the left-handers, where he'll go in there with a fastball, and he'll go in there again with a slider that looks like a fastball until it just disappears. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled straight back as Jake got that ball up.
Crowd starting to get into it here, wanting one more strikeout and have Jake end this inning on another strikeout. Again, those first couple pitches inside and down. This one now, he got his eyes looking up.
Ground ball to second. Easy play for Getz. He puts it away, and that's it. We head to the bottom of the seventh inning. Sox lead 2-0. It's 2-0 as we head into the bottom of the seventh inning. It's going to be Konerko, Ramirez, and Dye to face Eddie Bonine, who has pitched a one-hitter. But an error by Inge opened the door last inning to a 2-run homer by Beckham, and that's where we stand at 2-0. The breaking ball misses down. Paul is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a flyout. And Minnesota has extended their lead to 6-1 over Kansas City. That's Pavano for Minnesota and Robinson Tejeda, who's getting roughed up. Good fastball over the outside corner, evens the count at 1-1. This is your first look at PV Live. What do you think about it?
Oh, I love it. I think he's just everything that you want in an ace. He's aggressive. He's not afraid to throw strikes, not afraid to throw inside. Again, giving these youngsters a lot of confidence that, look, I don't have to hit the outside corner to be successful. I can come inside and sometimes off the plate inside to be successful.
The fact that he can go inside with movement to both sides of the plate make him really tough to hit. You don't win Cy Young awards unless you have the ability to do that.
Oh,
well hit center field, but Granderson drifts back under this one. He's at the track, and he makes the catch for 1 out.
Unfortunately, we have some wind blowing tonight, but not in that direction. We've seen it. If you can hit one down the lines, you've got a chance, but dead center, it holds it up. Left center is probably where you're going to want to hit one if you get one up in the air.
Both bullpens up and going. It's Ryan Perry for the Tigers. Looks like Dotel. Certainly one of the two working in the pen. Lexi Ramirez 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Little chopper to the right side. Inge has it. For the first, and he gets him. Hey, Sox fans, join the team in sunny Glendale, Arizona for spring training 2010. With new lower prices, this will be the best baseball vacation ever. Visit www.whitesox.com/spring travel or call 1-800-892-7687. So quickly, 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's Williams and Dotel throwing in the pen. Jermaine 0 for 1 with a walk. Strikeout looking in the 2nd. Didn't like the call, then drew a base on balls in the 5th. Made a great catch off the bat of Granderson to lead off this game and set the tone for it.
Truly, there's been 3 memorable moments so far. Taking away that leadoff double, Peavy just looking so comfortable, and Beckham's hit.
Set up by the error by him. The 2nd error in 22 games for the Tigers. So you take a team that's as good a defensive team as they are, and it just shows you, if you open the door, any team is capable of making you pay. Count is 3-0 on Jermaine. He looks at a fastball for a strike. You would think that this would be the last inning for Bonine. Jim Leyland getting everything he'd want and more in a guy making his 3rd start of the year. And the chopper foul.
3rd start and with almost a 6 ERA. I mean, to be able to keep our lineup off balance the way he has, with first pitch fastball, first pitch curveball, first pitch changeup, all being thrown for strikes, has never given our Sox hitters a chance to get into a groove or get into a rhythm.
Made one mistake, and it was a costly one. 3-2 pitch. And that one misses inside, so for the 2nd time tonight, Jermaine draws a walk. And the inning stays alive for Carlos Quentin.
And I'm sure Jermaine is probably thinking, why now? Why am I starting to get my groove now? Why couldn't this been a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago? Knowing that everybody is going to have a couple little ups and downs throughout the course of the season, for Jermaine it's been a really rough 2nd half.
Well, unfortunately it has, and there's not much you can do about what's happened in the 2nd half. Right back up the middle, the 2nd Sox hit of the night. Keeps the inning alive as they look for a little insurance. Could very well be that Bonine is starting to run out of gas, because he's deep into this game, probably deeper than he's been for some time. And Avila goes out to talk with him, and here comes Jim Leyland. I would think that that would be about it for him, but
as you said, he gave Jim probably a lot more than Jim expected, keeping us just to 2 runs on 1 hit. Well, now 2 hits.
And a call to the pen. And as Perry enters, we'll exit. White Sox fans, come to Gate 5 for the Fan Appreciation Tent Sale this weekend. The sale will open at 1 p.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Sunday. The sale will stay open for an hour after the game. So Ryan Perry comes into the game, and Mike, tell us a little bit about him.
Well, first-round draft choice in 2008. Obviously, quickly to the big leagues, and this is his 50th appearance. So you know Jim's got comfort. Feels confidence bringing him in, probably a situational pitcher.
And a real hard thrower. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. And that one gets away. That'll be the 5th wild pitch. As that hard slider gets by Avila. We've seen Perry at times be very wild, and as Avila sets up outside, that was a cutter well inside.
Well inside. And again, you've got a rookie catcher with the pitcher who's been up here all year long. Sometimes you don't quite realize how explosive a fastball or a hard slider can be.
And Chris Getz 0 for 2 with runners at second and third. Fastball right down the middle, evens the count at 1-1.
As you said, a smooth 96 miles an hour.
He's got a terrific fastball. 0-6-1 for the Tigers. 2-2 and a big 0 for the White Sox in that air column. Perry steps off. Wants a reset on the signs. Outfield a couple of steps toward left center. Chris Getz. And Avila telling him to settle down some because he's trying real hard to throw that fastball to the screen.
I was going to say, tried one more time to throw that hard slider to the screen. That would be nice, and go ahead and spike a fastball. I think Avila's saying, look, you throw hard enough. Just give me a chance to catch it.
These are 2 real big insurance runs out there. And now Avila going out to talk with Perry. Chris has 31 runs driven in.
It would be real nice to make that 33. When you were pitching, one indicator and then the sign for fastball, curveball. Now it seems like every pitch, every time it changes, and they're throwing down 5 or 6 signals.
It really depends on what ballpark you were in. Ground ball to second. Polanco comes up with it. That's going to be it. And we'll head to the 8th inning. Sox lead 2-0. Thanks, Art Chuck. Randy Williams comes into the game. There you look at the numbers, and he'll face Ryan Rayburn, who's on the pinch hit for Curtis Granderson. Williams has been pretty good out of the bullpen as a situational left-hander, facing that one left-hand hitter. But of course, he's not going to face Granderson, as his night is done, 0 for 3. And Rayburn comes on. Fastball just misses off the outside corner. Rayburn hitting .281. 2 for 14 with a home run and 2 driven in as a pinch hitter. It'll be Rayburn, Polanco, and Ordonez. Fastball misses up high, and the count goes to 2-0. We're in the top of the 8th inning. If you're just joining us, Hawk Harrelson away on family business. And the Sox lead courtesy of a 2-run homer by Gordon Beckham back in the 6th inning. The fastball shaves off the inside corner. And it's 2-1. Kansas City has narrowed the gap. They now trail 6-4 in Kansas City. Line drive foul. That evens it up at 2-2.
As you talked about, Steve, for the young pitcher here, when you get put in positions, again, to succeed, lefty facing lefty, here's a chance for Ozzie this last week of the season to see who can step up and maybe get into a little bit different situation and perform.
Line drive just foul. Ron Culpa straddling the line, and that one just missed. Well, normally Williams isn't in this situation because this is the domain of Matt Thornton. But with Bobby Jenks out for the year with a calf problem, Matt Thornton has moved up. He's the closer. So I think Ozzie wants to find out if Williams can help him in the 8th inning, something that he wouldn't normally have a chance to do. But every time you get an opportunity in this game, and you know that, you have to take advantage of it.
Opportunities are few and far between, and unfortunately, most of the time it comes from an injury, somebody else. And you hate to ever take someone's bad luck and make it your good luck. But again, at this game, at this level, any opportunity you have, you got to take full advantage of it.
The breaking ball floated outside, so the count goes full. And the last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff man ahead of a man who's 3 for 3 tonight. That one's fouled back, and you have to think that Williams is on for one hitter. And then Ozzie's going to go to the bullpen as Polanco, Ordonez, and Cabrera all swing the bat from the right side.
Yeah, you'd expect it to be a pretty short leash, and I think the way he's gone about this batter is probably shorter, whether he gets a hit or not. But hopefully we get that first out right here.
The 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Fastball on the outside corner. And that is indeed going to be it for Randy Williams, who does his job, striking out Rayburn. And here comes Ozzie. He's going to the bullpen and will step out. On demand from Comcast, you'll have access to Comcast Sportsnet White Sox games ready to watch on your schedule. Find out more, call 1-888-4BEST-TV. And the Lexus call to the pen is Octavio Dotel. He's 3-3, ERA 3.36, on for the 62nd time. And Mike, you've seen Octavio this year. He had a rough patch for a while, but overall, would you consider it a good year?
Yeah, again, you look at the numbers, and I'm sure for him, he's going to be frustrated, but as an overall package, you've got to be pretty pleased with what he's been able to do.
Jake Peavy went 7, gave up 6 hits, no runs, walked 2, fanned 8 in what was just an overwhelming performance tonight. So Placido Polanco, who's 3 for 3, steps in. He looks at a good fastball for a strike.
Now, stats aren't everything, but I got to believe Ozzie knows that Polanco is only 2 for 11 against Dotal. And with 3 hits so far tonight and only a 2-run lead in the 8th inning, you don't want to put anybody up there that he's feeling more comfortable than he has with Peavy.
Ozzie wants to get out of this inning and make sure that Cabrera leads off the next inning. He doesn't want to have to face him with the game on the bases. 1-1 pitch, and that sweeping breaking ball misses outside. The count goes to 2-1. 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Sox lead 2-0. They've been out hit 6-2. Detroit's made the only error of the game, and it was costly. Outfield straight away. That fastball misses up high. So a 3-1 count on Placido Polanco, who very rarely, if ever, swings at a pitch out of the zone. That fastball on the outside corner.
Saw him try to do a little Eddie Goodell on that one and crouch down.
It's
home plate umpire Mark Carlson had nothing to do with that one.
Now, when you're 5'7", it's tough to duck under a waist-high fastball. Full count. He struck him out. That's a huge out. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning, and now if you get Ordonez, you leave Cabrera in the on-deck circle. And one of the toughest men to strike out in the major leagues goes down on strikes.
Great pitch, great location by Dotal there. AJ giving him a good target, and you just put the ball right on it.
It was a fastball right by Ordonez, who's 1 for 3, grounded into a double play in both the 1st and 3rd innings. And a little looping base hit in the 6th. Outfield shades toward right field. And Dotel throws a fastball right by him, and Octavio's throwing that fastball at 95 miles an hour. And it looks like Ordonez cannot catch up to it upstairs.
Yeah, he barely got around on Peavy's with a little flare single.
Drive into the gap, but Posebnik right there to make the play. And the 8th inning goes by the boards. We head into the bottom of the 8th with the Sox holding a 2-0 lead. nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T, your world delivered. Ryan Rayburn stays in the game to play center field. And that hard slider misses low and away. Ryan Perry on in relief of Eddie Bonine, who threw real well. Through 6 2/3 innings, gave up a couple of runs, unearned runs, on just 2 hits. Walked 4, fanned 3. Perry threw that one back to the screen again. He's having a hard time with his release point, and Rios was a man who hit that ground ball that Brandon Inge could not field at third base. And that's one of the biggest plays of the game.
Right behind the hit by Gordon. Second most important right now. Again, Alex was out of the box hard on that ground ball. And who's to say that Brandon might have saw him running hard, and knowing how big and how long those strides are, how quickly Alex can get down the line, he might have hustled just a little bit, which caused the error.
Count goes to 3-0. And the Sox looking for at least one insurance run here. Matt Thornton loosening up in the bullpen, and we're going to get a chance to see him close. Ball 4, so for the second time tonight, Rios has drawn a base on balls.
And reached base safely all 3 times tonight. That's also a good sign.
Previous 2 times, he's run. And with Jim Leyland going to the mound and Perry having all kinds of problems with his release point, we'll see what he has to say to the young man. And it's brief and to the point. You can pretty much take that to the bank.
Throw strikes, throw strikes, and throw strikes.
Ryan Perry's a big, long motion pitcher, which means that Rios should have a tremendous jump off first. And I wouldn't expect they'd wait around too long before they'd send it.
And with Scotty Pott, a base runner hitting, you probably see him fake a bunt, pull one back, let Alex get into scoring position if he sees him go.
They went to bunt and fouled it off.
Looked like it was a sacrifice. Alex was shuffling off first nicely, but definitely not a bunt and run or any type of straight steal.
They were charging hard at the corners with Inge at third and Cabrera at first. Inge has a great arm at third base. If you do bunt this, you certainly want to bunt it at Cabrera. 0-1 pitch. Slider misses low and away.
The other important thing to think about when you're trying to bunt here is to make sure the barrel is out in front of the base, in front of home plate. So it's every ball that comes off of it's going to be in fair territory. Scotty Pott might be thinking about a bunt for a hit, if not a straight sacrifice.
He's actually a better bunter bunting for a hit than he is as a sacrifice bunter, and that's not unusual. There's a lot of guys that will happen to. It's need and fine. Need the left-hander. Fastball for a strike. That's Fu Tae Need. And he's had a terrific run out of the bullpen. One and 2 count. That's Scott Podsednik, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Runner going. Struck him out, but he slides safely into second base. The 22nd steal of the year for Rios. And so a failure to sacrifice still finds Rios at second base with an all-important insurance run. Now Avila to the mound to go over a different set of signs with Alex at second.
Probably trying to keep it simple for Ryan here. Again, keeping his focus on the glove, not necessarily the base runners. Letting him know you've got a base open. Here's the one guy that's really looked comfortable at the plate tonight. If we walk him, it's not necessarily that bad a thing.
And if he does walk him, he leaves the game, and Nee comes in to face Pierzynski. That slider misses down, and if you missed it, back in the 6th inning, Gordon Beckham gets one on the inner portion and takes it way back. That's the difference in this game. One of the very few mistakes that Eddie Bonine made. The fastball misses up, and the count goes to 2-0.
As we talked about all game, how comfortable Peavy looked on the mound. Ryan Perry just does not look like he's ever found his release point out there.
No, when you're that young and throw that hard, it's difficult. Because first of all, he's a big man, a lot of moving parts, and a big motion.
How much would it affect relievers knowing that you've had a starter probably put a plant where their plant foot is and dig a little hole there? Now you have a longer reliever that may not hit a smooth mound. Does that affect their release point?
I think on some mounds, but not Roger Bossard's mound. I think that's a pretty good mound. I think most of the pitchers in the league will tell you it's among the best, and you can see you don't see much of a hole where all the pitchers have landed. There's been a lot of pitches tonight. That one's fouled off, and it's a 3-2 count. One out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sox lead by a pair, courtesy of Gordon Beckham, who's in a battle with Nolan Reimold, who just had surgery on an Achilles tendon, Andrew Bailey, who has an ERA below 2, and he's the closer for Oakland. He's had a great year, and of course Rick Porcello, who's won 14 games for these Tigers. They're all battling for Rookie of the Year. 3-2 pitch, and it gets away. So it will go as a wild pitch and a walk. And we'll see just how patient Jim Leyland is with his young right-hander who can't find the plate. Best thing could have happened to Perry on that one is if he hit Beckham.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, and Gordon's been hit a couple times recently. I'm sure he's thinking, do I have a target on me?
Here comes Jim Leyland, and that's going to be it. As Perry will depart, Nee will come on, and we'll step out. For those of you Monty Python fans, this is indeed the night you see Nee. And what do you know about him?
All I know right now is that he's got a sub-3 ERA and he's got 31 appearances. That's not the kind of guy we want to see, with the exception of A.J. Pierzynski, who has seen him once, and he's 1 for 1. So Leyland may have been thinking, I got my lefty on lefty, but this is one lefty that A.J. has seen and hit.
Runners at the corners, only one out, a big insurance run. Alex Rios with a leadoff walk. A stolen base, his 22nd of the year. And Gordon Beckham aboard via the walk. Outfield straightaway, infield halfway. And a sweeping breaking ball misses away. So knee is not overpowering. He does have very good control.
And with that wild pitch, first and third, we have a nice hole between first and second in middle infield at double play depth.
That one fouled straight back, a high fastball. And the one thing Gordon has to do, because I'm pretty sure that a rookie catcher is not going to throw behind the left-hand hitter. If you're talking about Yadier Molina or Pudge Rodriguez in his prime, you'd have to worry about your secondary lead at first base. But Gordon has to get a good secondary lead, because on a ground ball, he's got to break up two, because it gets you a run, a big insurance run out at third base. So 1-1 count, and that fouled off to the left.
AJ, a pretty good swing on both of those. I'm sure that first fastball was the one that he wanted. Up in the strike zone was something he could at least lift out in the outfield, just underneath it. And that fastball, pretty good location, down and out. Good swing on it, but now he's got to battle, and like you said, Gordon's got to be prepared to break up a double play.
AJ 0 for 3, looking for run batted in number 50. He's got 3 sacrifice flies. And that one misses low and in, and the count evens at 2. It's still 6-4, Minnesota over Kansas City in Kansas City, in a game of critical interest to these Tigers.
Guarantee there's a lot of coaches and a lot of bench players and bullpen guys watching those scoreboards.
Little pop-up. Inge going back. He calls for it. And that's not going to get the job done. So 2 are out. Paul Konerko 0 for 3. Strikeout and a couple of flyouts, but he's not going to look at me. He's going to leave. And we'll be back after these messages. Fine. And Mike, what do you know about him?
Well, last outing, or last game he pitched was September 15th against Kansas City. He's not sporting that strong an ERA or games pitched, but you know what? 0-1, 14.4 ERA in his last 5 innings pitched, giving up 8 earned runs, 10 hits. You would think we got the right guy on the mound for us in this situation.
And 87 runs driven in by Paul Konerko. Runners at the corners, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sox lead 2-0. They have just 2 hits in this one, but 1-2 run Beckham home run in the 6th. Outfield straightaway fairly deep. That slider misses low and away.
Well, I'm hoping Casey can stay true to form because he's only pitched 7 innings, 7 in the 3rd, and given up 2 home runs. I'm hoping we can make it 3 right here.
He's also walked 5 in 7 in the 3rd, so control has been a factor. Drops a curveball over the plate, even the count at 1-1.
Again, good job by Paulie in a hitter's count, getting a curveball, laying off of it. As we talked about before, Steve, I mean, a great point. When you get to the major leagues, if you are a pitcher that can throw another pitch beside a fastball and the fastball count, you've got a chance to stay here for a while.
Little chopper to the left side. Inge has it. This will be easy, and that's it. We'll head to the top of the 9th inning. Matt Thornton will try to come on and nail it down. It's 2-0 as we head into the top of the 9th inning. Matt Thornton comes on, and he'll be looking for his 2nd save of the year. There you look at some very impressive numbers. And Mike, how many guys have you seen with easy gas at 97?
Oh, not many. I mean, the only one that I could think of was Randy Johnson.
First ball fastball, and Cabrera takes strike 1. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. They're going to pinch hit for Aubrey Huff as Cabrera swings through a fastball, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, it was only at 97. He must be needing to loosen up a little bit more. I tell you what, as hard as Matt throws, the thing that is so impressive, 81 strikeouts and only 18 walks.
Couldn't check his swing, and Mark Carlson rings him up. So for the 2nd time tonight, Cabrera goes down on strikes, and that's a big first out in the 9th inning.
You think about those good hard fastballs, and all of a sudden here comes a hard slider. Couldn't hold up. Maybe he didn't swing all the way, but you know what? It was close enough, and there definitely was intent from Cabrera.
Adam Everett comes on a pinch hit. So the night's done for Aubrey Huff. And Everett takes a fastball for a strike.
And I'm sure he's thinking that sounded a little bit low.
Everett hitting 236. Doesn't get a chance to pinch hit very much. 0 for 2 this year. Throws a fastball right by him, and the fastball's exploding. Jim Leland talking about Matt Thornton before the game. Wondered if he would close. I said we would like to give him an opportunity to show us if he can do that. And the opportunity is now. That one misses down, and it's 1-2. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Sox lead 2-0, courtesy of a Gordon Beckham 2-run homer. Jake Peavy bidding to go 2-0. He was brilliant. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, no runs, fanned 8, walked 2. And Everett fouls a high fastball straight back.
Well, as we talked about, those 6 hits that were off Jake, there really was only one that I think either of us would say was a true hit. All the others were either infield bunts, well-positioned jam shots, or balls bouncing off the plate that guys were able to beat out.
And a great play by Jermaine Dye in right field, set it up. That one just misses inside. A.J. wanted it. Mark Carlson didn't give it to him.
Even Matt Thornton buckled at the knees here. Adam Everett, I think he was getting ready to walk back to the dugout too. Everybody knew where that crossed the plate. That was a strike.
That crossed the plate right in the middle of the plate. And I think Carlson is hearing it from the dugout. And I think Ozzie might have been given the boot. 2-2 count. There's a fastball right by him. Strike 3.
Sign of a great pitcher is that there's an error behind you or a bad call by the umpire is not letting it affect you, especially after having your manager get thrown out and break your rhythm. Matt just reaches back, throws a high fastball right by him.
Carlos Guillen, who was only hitting from the left side since coming back off the disabled list, he's 3 for his last 3 as a right-hand hitter. He takes a fastball right down the middle.
I like seeing how Matt's getting right back on the mound and trying to work quickly. He's found a groove. He's got his release point. Get up there and throw it.
Especially with the rain pelting down and 1 out away from a crippling win for the Tigers. Strike 2, 98. Fans on their feet. They've been into this one. 30,794 strong. The Sox are eliminated, but they're trying to rain on the parade of the Tigers. Minnesota still leading. Now 7-4. That game in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. And here in Chicago, an 0-2 count on Guillen. Thorne reaches back and tried to throw that one right through A.J., so it wasn't near as fast as it pitched before, because that was the maximum effort fastball.
That was a little too much muscle and not enough loose relaxing. Hopefully this one will be it.
That one misses down. The count evens at 2-2.
Actually, a good job by Guillen to lay off that one. That one started in the strike zone, the lower half. One of those hard sliders that he was able to hold up. You can see the rain starting to come down. As Steve said, both literally and figuratively, it's time to rain on their parade.
That one fouled straight back as Brandon Inge waits in the on-deck circle. Matt Thornton looking for save number 2. Sox looking for a win in this, the last home series of the year. And the fans have been into this one from the beginning on their feet. Count goes full as that one misses low and away.
Well, Jermaine Dye did a great job of getting these fans going in that first inning with really the only ball that's been hit hard. Leaping catch at the fence to take away a leadoff, possibly double or triple.
That one up and out of the zone. Ball 4. Well, the game is kept alive for Brandon Inge. He's been up 3 times. He's fanned 3 times.
He has made the critical error that gave us the opportunity to score our 2 runs.
It has not been a good night, and he's trying to avoid the golden sombrero. Only not holding Guillen at first base. Outfield straightaway, deep. And a good fastball for a strike as he pumps it right down the middle.
And this might be the thing for Matt right now. Get into a stretch, relax, deep breath, just focus on A.J. in the glove.
That one misses inside.
You talked about those injuries to Inge earlier this year, the knees that are starting to really affect his game. Looked like they were affecting him right there.
89% humidity and rain.
Yeah.
Can't feel too good, but this guy has tremendous power. 1-1 pitch. Over the inside corner, strike 2. in talking to Mark Carlson, as if to verify it was over the inside corner. Carlson saying, I wouldn't have called it if it wasn't.
Rarely have I ever seen someone ask umpire change his mind and say, no, that was a ball, I'm sorry.
1-2 count, that one misses down. It's 2-2. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Matt Thornton trying to nail it down for Jake Peavy.
Well, and Kerwin could have made up for a lot of his bad calls by calling that one strike 3. You hear the crowd booing him for not doing it. Let's let Matt do it by himself.
That one fouled off as in stays alive. So it's been Peavy, Williams, Dotel, and now Thornton. And together to this point, there's a goose egg on the board for the Tigers.
Along with 11 strikeouts. The guys have done a great job on the mound.
The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball right at Ramirez. The flip to second. That's it. Sox win 2-0. A great job by Jake Peavy. Matt Thornton saves his second game of the year. And the Tigers now can only scoreboard watch. And if it holds in Kansas City, the lead is down to 2. So, Mike, you saw a brilliant performance by Jake Peavy. How did everybody look in the pitching staff tonight?
Oh, I'll tell you what, from Williams, Dotel, Thornton, and Peavy, everyone looked like they had a master of what they wanted to do. We had 11 strikeouts, just a wonderful game that started from the very first pitch, now to the last one.
Well, thanks for sitting in tonight. And for my partner, Mike Huff, our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Joe Corneo, our technical manager, Mark Harper, and the mayor, Mean Joe Groove. I'm Steve Stone saying so long, everybody.